Hey, take these glasses off. I need them when I set this camera up. Like now, I can't see shit, but they're not like prescription glasses. They're just had an awesome pair of prescription glasses, but don't have them anymore. And these are just some store-bought cheapo generic reading glasses. I mean, I can see distance. I can't see up close. I can't see really clearly this close. Anyway, I feel compelled to make a video about this. You know, I get a lot of email, and I appreciate every single one. Appreciate every one. I appreciate that any other human being out there can see anything that I've put on this channel, and it touches them in any way. You know, either at a deeper level or just a very base level, or that they even just express enough interest in anything I could create like that, like I do here, for them to contact me. It's very flattering and humbling. But this gentleman, a gorilla brother, he is a vet, combat vet, suffers from TBI, traumatic brain injury. We've talked about it before, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And also, in his youth growing up, he was bullied. He was always a very slight build, very small guy, similar to myself when I was that age. He remembers being, 140, 145 pounds, and being picked on, people stealing things from him, taking away things from him, even his Halloween candy. That's pretty hardcore. And he was just a gentle spirit, a kind soul, a compassionate child. So it wasn't that he perhaps didn't have the heart to do something physical to any of these people that would bully him or steal from him or pick on him or belittle him. It was more that he was gentle and kind and timid. And you know what? Other than the world that we're living in now, I say those are really good qualities in a human being. The timid part, I think, is learned. And that's just maybe a branch off of the tree that you begin as. I think that, you can be shy, and you can be gentle, kind, considerate, compassionate, pacifistic. And I think the timid thing sort of comes more into play when people take advantage of that, and that kind of makes you a little gun shy, if you know what I mean. But I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. It's all any of this is. Anyway, later he moved, and he had left a rougher area, a rougher city. He grew up in a city at that age, and he moved to another area, a rural area, where things were a lot calmer, a lot slower, a lot more laid back, and not as dense or overpopulated. And it was a chance to start over, and he made a girl, and he got a lot of attention from girls, and he made a girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. And people were jealous because girls seemed to show him attention. He was a good-looking guy. Other guys, we don't know what's attractive in a guy if we're straight. We really don't. Frequently, guys will consider another guy ugly or whatever, and girls will think that guy's great looking. We don't know, right? So all the guys knew is they liked to pick on him where he used to be, but the new place, not so much. He seemed to have a pretty good beginning there. And he was making a few friends, and now he had a girlfriend. And he was, of course, he's happy. Opportunity to thrive and learn, what you go to school for, hopefully. But because there were guys that were jealous of him over this girl, a very attractive, popular girl, they made up some stories about him and told another guy that was a friend of his, which I would rather probably classify the guy as an associate rather than a friend, but he felt the guy used to be a friend, but he was much, much larger than this gentleman. And they told the guy a bunch of lies, and so they initiated a fight, and got the guy to beat him up, basically. And then he withdrew back into his shell because it was just like it was at the old school. People started hassling him and picking on him. Once they realized that he was, a quiet, timid, shy guy, they didn't want that kind of thing. That he wasn't a violent child, and he just locked himself away to himself in his room most of the time. Didn't even want to go to school. None of that stuff. And so eventually, of course, his girlfriend broke up with him because he doesn't reach out to her. She doesn't see him. He doesn't come out of his room. Well, he opted to enlist in the Army. So he goes into the Army, and he's obviously he thought that it was a place for him to start. I mean, if you have nothing on the ball, absolutely nothing, it makes sense to me. I went into the service when I was 17. And this fellow, he quit school and whole 9 yards to do homeschooling, and he never actually did it because he went ahead and he went into the Army because he wanted life to change. So he goes into the Army, a huge change, and this was around the same time that we had a whole lot going on in the Middle East once again, and he was deployed, and he ended up in Iraq and Afghanistan 2 different times, and he's went on over 100 combat missions, received a Purple Heart, all kind of commendations with valor attached to them, and he went to jump school and all that before he went, and he ended up being injured to the degree that he was almost killed, and obviously that's where the Purple Heart comes in. So now he's back home, and with the traumatic brain injury and the PTSD and the things that he had to do to survive in that environment, his PTSD manifests still, I suppose, itself in a way that it is difficult for him to reconnect with just normal, commonplace emotions that average people, most people with not anything similar experience in their life, just experience every day without even really thinking much of it. He came back home to his wife, and he's trying to find ways to feel again, really, because over there what he had to do, being the man that he was and thrust into this situation, which of course he signed up for, but nonetheless, when he really was there and they really put him in the position that he was placed in, the jobs that he had, then he had to learn to turn off his emotions and learn not to feel, so that he was able to place his life into harm's way and into danger without emotions getting in the way, and to be able to see his friends, his brothers, killed right beside him, sometimes in hideous ways, and not react. And after enough of that, he comes home, and now, just like flipping a switch, okay, now you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now you can be a regular guy. And he's having a hard time being a regular guy. And I know if there are any vets watching this, you're going to get, you have many different kinds of vets, just like you have many different people in the world, period. And you're going to have guys that are going to say, I saw all kind of combat, I came out fine. And you'll have guys that didn't see any combat, and so forth and so on. Well, everybody doesn't come out fine. If you came out fine, congratulations. That's freaking awesome. That's great. I hope you really did come out fine. But if you did not, then I think it's unfortunate. It's more than unfortunate. And this fellow told me that there were many times he would lock his bedroom door home with his wife, and he would be alone in the bedroom and lay on the bed with his Beretta against his temple, wishing he had the guts to pull the trigger. Now that's some tough stuff there. That's pretty hard. All I can say is that to this gentleman is that I don't have, obviously, God knows, I don't have anything like an answer. I'm no one to, the only reason I even have an opinion that I would even put out here like this is because he reached out to me for whatever reason, why he feels that I may have something to say that makes any kind of fucking sense. I don't know that I do, but nonetheless, what I think is that it's not hard to understand for you to come home like that. It's not difficult. It's not difficult, and you're not alone. And I really sincerely hope that you're not too proud or too hesitant to reach out to others that have been in the situations that you've been in and been through similar experiences in some of the same places. I think that that's probably something really, really useful. And in fact, maybe you have, but if you haven't, another good friend that I communicate to through email, this guy is, the whole 9 yards, has done it all. Career in the military, and pretty much every engagement that we even know that we've been involved in, he's been there, and quite a few that we don't even know about. And he volunteered to help out any brother that has a similar circumstance as yourself. And I'm going to forward his information to you. When I get done this video, I'll email you back. And if you haven't reached out to anybody like that, or even if you have, I hope that you will write to him. I hope you'll write to him. And my own take on it is just that it only makes sense. I mean, if you take a dog, you take look, my pit bull that just passed away with a brain tumor last Easter. She was the sweetest, kindest, gentlest, smartest dog I've ever had, and I've had dogs all my life. And I have another dog now, but that dog was Einstein compared to the dog I have now. The dog I have now is another special needs case. This dog, the dog I have now is going to be put down if we didn't take the dog, if we didn't intervene. The dog directly came from one place to us, not back to the shelter, because if it had gone back, it was done, because it was his last chance. And the dog's been great with us, but the dog has a few little issues, but the dog's sweet. But nonetheless, my previous dog, Baby, I raised this dog, had this dog from a little puppy, and she was so sweet. What a sweetheart, so gentle. Seeing this dog pick up little birds that were hurt and try and toss them up into the air, try and make them fly, just this guileless, loving creature. And so people talk about these pit bulls and these dogs, this breed of dog, but any creature, any intelligent creature has the potential to do what they have to do to survive. And when, even like these dogs, when you take these dogs, I have experience with this. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up. I'm not comparing you to a pit bull. I'm just saying an analogy of sorts. And even my familiarity with these animals and how awesome they are. If you take these dogs, and these dogs will do anything you ask them to do. They love you. They will do anything for you. Just much like you love your country, you love that flag, you made the commitment, you did what was asked of you. And this dog's the same way, man. If you want these dogs, if you get these dogs and you want to make these dogs fight, you want to make these dogs aggressive and violent, you can do that. But they can come back. They can come back even from that. And we're more intelligent than the dog, brother. We can too. And I'm sure that they have scars. They have scars on their bodies. The dog I have now has got all kinds of scars. They have scars on their bodies, and I'm sure they have scars on their soul. But they still know what love is, as I am sure you know. And yeah, it's not going to, of course it's not an easy road. But you did what you had to do, and that's past now. I know it'll probably never really be past for you, but you're not there now. And here's the deal. You had a job to do there, and you went to extremes to do that job. And I understand that the only thing you can feel now is adrenaline, and so you look for these hazardous, jeopardizing types of situations and ways to get release or to feel. And you know what? This is your job here. You have a wife and kids, man. As you know, God knows I'm not preaching to you. Lord knows that. Please don't even take it that way. But that wife and those kids, you know your job. You've got a job to still have a job. Every bit as important, or more so, as the job you just went over there and did that did this to you. You did that job, you got to do this job. So it's hard, and you may have difficulties, and I don't know what else you wrestle with, but you know, maybe you can't feel like you wish you could, but you're gonna have to push it aside, man. You're gonna have to put it aside. Because just like you learn to turn all that off, to do the things that were asked of you to do because you love that flag, you got to push that aside and do the things that are expected and asked of you now. You got to take care of those little ones and be the best husband you can be to your partner. And in the doing of that, anything arises that you think you need to do otherwise, that's going to go down the wrong path, but you really crave to do it because you need that adrenaline, you got to put their needs first. It's a job. There's commendations you won. There's, you know, that Purple Heart, all that stuff, Medals of Valor. You know what all those things mean. You definitely, certainly know what they mean. Well, we need the same thing here at home. This is a different job. And it's still, the war's still even here. All the bad things that can befall people, you know, especially kids growing up today, you know what you went through. They need you, not on autopilot, right? They need you. They need you. You have much to contribute. You've got plenty to contribute to the world. If you can't see that and that's not worth it to you, I understand. The world isn't always a great place. But that's a great place where you have right there, your wife and your children. Those children will never look at any man with more admiration than they look at you. They're counting on you. They're counting on you to do your fucking job. And you know what? If you eat a bullet, you can't do that job. And then who's going to do it? Who's going to do it if you don't do it? So, I don't know if that makes any sense. But if nothing else works, I have found in my own life, in previous times, if nothing else works, then I look at what I really have to live for beyond me that is more important to me than myself. And if you live for that, and you put yourself aside, if you do it long enough, just like what you learned to not feel over there, you may learn to feel for that here, the good things. So I don't know. It's the best I can do. I mean, it's a tall order to even try to give any advice or, you know, make any sense out of anything like that.
He's
But
loved. He doesn't realize that he's really loved and he would be really mistreated.
anyway, brother, I hope you get some kind of sense out of this. And man, God knows, you know, if you need anything at all or somebody to talk to you, whatever, man, email me. Email me, I'll give you a number or whatever. Call me, I don't care. Talk to you, whatever, right? And I'm going to forward that other fellow's email to you, man. I think that maybe that'll give you some clarity occasionally. Maybe it'll help you out a bit. But just remember, you got a job to do here. People here that are counting on you, man. You got a very important job to do here. Nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else can be trusted to do it. Unlike all the brothers that you had that came home and didn't come home, this is a job that only you can do. Only you can do it. So you're going to do it or what? If you quit, it's for good. You're going to miss a whole lot of stuff. All right. That's it for now. Have an awesome day, man.